Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with another knife review for you. Today we have the Tangram Vector. Very cool knife coming from Tangram, which, if you guys don't know, is Kaiser's absolute budget line. It used to be the Vanguard series, kind of like this mini sheepdog that was G10 and VG10 steel. Now they have Tangram, which uses Akuto 440 steel and a myriad of handle configurations. This one is aluminum, and it's a button lock, which is pretty cool because it's kind of rare to see a button lock, and I like button locks. I think they're pretty neat, and this one is actually executed pretty well. And $36.99 on Amazon, which is pretty much the only place you can get Tangrams, by the way. And unfortunately, this one is fine. It'll ship to anywhere. But for some reason, Amazon has this thing. If you live in, I know New York is one because that's where I live, and a few other states, if it has a flipper tab, they won't ship it to you. Don't understand why. They're not illegal, but that's something they did. But these are available pretty much only on Amazon. Occasionally you see them on eBay and stuff, but pretty cool line. It is a Kaiser supported line. It comes with really awesome packaging. Is kind of one of the, I think, the best things about this. Comes in this cool little slide out package. You get your little origami project in there and your polishing cloth. There's some paperwork in there and stuff too. Just awesome that they put all this stuff in a $36.99 knife, and this is not the cheapest knife they sell. I think some of them right now are going down to like $30. They just lowered some prices even. I can't believe it. Very high quality. Again, Japanese Akuto 440 steel and aluminum handles. It's pretty good steel. We'll get to that more in a moment. Let's do some stats before we get too awful far in this. You have an overall length of 6.8 inches, blade length of 2.9 inches, so this is a knife that should be legal in a whole lot of places. You have a blade thickness of 0.95 inches, pretty thin little blade. You have a handle thickness of 0.49 inches and a weight of 3.3 ounces, so not terribly heavy for being full aluminum construction and the button lock and all that. Let's do some size comparisons. We'll start out with some of the standards first. This is not a terribly large knife, as you will see momentarily. First, we'll do our Benchmade 940. Quite a bit shorter than a 940 is. Try to line up the pivots there. Next, we will do some more of our standards. You have the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. It's obviously dwarfed by a PM2. And last amongst our standards, and then we'll do some more that are actually more in this kind of size and price range, you have the Spyderco Delica. Just a little bit shorter than a Delica 4. Just a smidge and a quarter maybe. Next, some knives that are more kind of in this size range more accurately. We have your Spyderco Para 3. Very similar in overall length to a Para 3, but obviously the Para 3 is a much taller knife, probably also a bit more of a beefier knife. And then we will do the ubiquitous Ontario Rat Model 2. This is a smaller one. The Rat Model 1 is much larger. Very similar in overall size to a Rat Model 2. And we'll wrap it up here just with a couple of Kershaws. I know we're doing a lot, but there are a lot of knives in this kind of size range. This is the Kershaw Dividend. It's just a smidge shorter than a Dividend. And last but not least, a knife that a little cheaper than this, but not a whole lot, the Kershaw Atmos. Very, very similar in overall size to the Atmos. The Atmos is a much more minimalist, lighter knife, but you get my meaning. Let's talk about the looks and the quality and stuff on this. I kind of like the way it looks. It's got this kind of almost feathery sort of thing going on. Not something I would think I normally like, but I do kind of like it. It looks pretty good on this knife. Everything's very high quality. Tangram blows it out of the water with this stuff. You know, the edge is perfect. The blade centerings, this one's a bit off, but I've been playing with it a whole lot and I haven't adjusted it, so when it came out of the box it was perfect, so I probably just got to tweak that a little bit, but it's still perfectly fine. Everything is chamfered and stuff. Everything's really well done. You get that awesome box, all the cool little toys. It makes you feel like you spent a lot more money than you did, which is always really, really, really nice to see. Now, let's talk about the blade on this. That's always the most important part of a knife. Again, the Akuto 440 steel. I've had really good luck with this. It's basically, Japanese 440. I really like it. I think it works really, really well. I've had very good luck with edge retention. I have several Tangrams, and I've put a lot of miles on them. They become kind of my beater knife du jour, and I've used them a lot, and I've never found anything to be a whole super difficult in sharpening it. You have about 17 thousandths behind the edge, so it's pretty thin behind the edge, and as I said, pretty thin blade stock. This is a pretty good slicer. It's really good slicer, actually, and you do have a slight bit of recurve on there, but it's not crazy. You could still probably use a guided sharpening system with this and be just fine. It's not really going to be that big a deal. Really good sharpening choil. I mean, you do have a bit of a little smile there at the edge, but it's pretty good. The thumb studs stay out of the way of the cutting edge. Not bad at all. Not bad. Ergonomics, very comfortable in the hand, I will say. It is super comfortable, especially when it's locked up and you're not going to cut your fingers off on it. It's very comfortable in the hand. There's no hot spots. Like I said, it's really, really well done. Your thumb does kind of want to rest up here, and that is pretty thin blade stock, and these edges aren't that chamfered, so there's that little issue. But it's still comfortable in the hand. But this is the coating they put on this aluminum ain't doing no favors. I'll say that. It's very, very slippery as compared to another aluminum one I have out on the dividend. You get at least a little bit of traction off from it. This is pretty slick, I will say. I never felt like I was going to drop it or anything because it does have this feathering and stuff that gives you a little bit of purchase. But I would have chosen a different coating, I think, on it than something this shiny and slick. It looks great, but it's not the grippiest thing ever. As far as the carry goes, not too bad. You don't have that much sticking out at all. What there is black, and black and silver, so it's fine. It carries fine. It is pretty thin. It does slide in on the pocket easy because it's very slippery. That being said, I never felt like I was in danger of it coming out of my pocket or anything. Pretty good spring tension on the clip, so not too bad. Now, deployment, you've got the thumb studs to deploy it or the button lock. The button lock is fun, and this is, again, $37. It's a lot of fun. Is it as much fun as, say, a Benchmade? It's no, but it ain't too far off. And again, this one's fairly new. I've broken it in quite a bit. Like I said, I do have to adjust that pivot a bit, I think, but I can still get it closed when I don't have the camera around me routinely. It's pretty neat. I do like it. It's a fun little thing, and button locks are just really, really cool. As you can see, this is totally open. You can see how it works here. That button moves out of the way, and it allows the blade to move. Pretty cool. I'm a fan of button locks. Every one that I've played with, I've enjoyed. And unfortunately, this is the only one I own because most of the other ones that I've played with are really expensive, and I never wound up buying one. But this is fun. If you just want to try a button lock and see if that's something that you want to try out in the future, maybe on a high-end knife like a Brian Ty or something like that, $36.99. Not bad at all. I think you're getting a pretty good steal. You're getting that awesome packaging. It is, in essence, a Kaiser. They've done a really good job. I think this is a fun little knife. Would it be my everyday EDC choice? No, probably not. But it's a fun little knife, and I do carry it a fair bit just because I want to play with a button lock. And Tangram is just, everything they've made so far has been good to great. I would put this more close to the good than the great. Like the Santa Fe I would call great, or this I would call pretty good. It's got the button lock that's fun to play with. It is a cool looking design. The blade is nice and slicey. It's just slippery, and that button lock isn't, if you're expecting it to be a Benchmade, like I said, or something like that, that's really fun to play with. There we go. Now I'm getting it. I told you I could do it, guys. I told you I could. No, it's not as smooth as some other deployment systems, but it ain't bad, and it's just fun. I would recommend it again if you just want to see what a button lock is like, or if you just want a cheap EDC that is a bit different than what everybody else is carrying. This is kind of a short video, but this is one of these knives that doesn't have any glaring errors, and it doesn't have anything glaring that I really want to freak out about. It's a good value. Other than that, there's nothing I really want to about, but there's nothing that I hate about it either. So pretty cool offering from Tangram. I really like it. I'll probably keep it around for a while. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. I've been Brian. Have a good one.